beautiful YouTube fam. Welcome back to another episode of Marvin's Room. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in and rocking with me on this journey. To the new subscribers, welcome to the channel where we talk about all things mental science, all things law of attraction, using the power of your mind to manifest things in your life easily and effortlessly. Today, I have a great video for you guys in reference to how Florence Scovel Shinn helped one of her clients at the time manifest her person back into her life. And this story is a great example of things getting dark before the manifestation occurs. And I'm going to get ready to go into this chapter and you'll see exactly what she's talking about, how she breaks it down, and things getting dark before the manifestation comes. But also too, this is a great chapter to talk about and show perseverance, because in this chapter, as you'll see, it took quite a bit of time for her person to come back. And in a lot of you guys' eyes, you would, like for your person to come back in a very short period of time. But after listening to this story, you'll see that this is a story where it took a little bit longer, because I know a lot of you guys like to read the clickbait titles and say, oh, get your SP back in 2 days, 3 days, get your SP back in 30 days or whatever the case may be. But you'll see in this story, this wasn't the case, but it still happened. So here's a story of faith and perseverance. So now let's jump right into it. This is from chapter 6 from Florence Scovel Shinn's book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, for those that don't know. And so I'm going to pick up later on in the chapter, and it reads, one of my students once asked me to explain the darkness before the dawn. I referred in a preceding chapter to the fact that often before the big demonstration meaning before the big manifestation happens, before the big demonstration, everything seems to go wrong. And deep depression clouds the consciousness. It means that out of our subconscious are rising the doubts and the fears of the ages. These old derelicts of the subconscious rise to the surface to be put out. So basically what she's saying right here, she's talking to her student, letting her know that often before your manifestation unfolds and takes place, you're probably going to see a lot of bad shit happening, but to not get discouraged. Stay rock solid, have the faith of a mustard seed, have your solid foundation and your beliefs as big as a mountaintop, because know that these are just past beliefs for whatever you've been dealing with coming out to the surface. All of the fears, all of the anxiety, etc. coming out, and they will be changed. And just let the subconscious mind do what it does, so that it can make way for what you really want to come into your life. Okay. So then she goes on to say, it is then that the man should clap his cymbals like Jehoshaphat and give thanks that he is saved, even though it seems surrounded by the enemy, which the enemy is the situation of lack or disease or whatever the case may be. If your person's missing, even though it seems that you're surrounded by the enemy. This is so now let's go back to this real quick. It says, if it is then that the man should clap his cymbals. So she's saying what Florence is saying. This is powerful stuff. What she's saying you guys should be clapping your hands when you start to see a bunch of shit going wrong. Basically, when you see everything going wrong in your life, you've been practicing this work and you've been doing affirmations and you're seeing the exact opposite of what you want to see, and the clouds are just coming. She's saying, yo, praise that, clap like the cymbals, clap like Jehoshaphat. She's saying, for those that don't know, that's a book story from the Bible. She's saying, clap the cymbals, rejoice, be happy, because your blessing, your manifestation is on its way. This is why everything is going bad. So don't be down. Don't look at the 3D and think, oh, this stuff doesn't work. Rejoice that the old is being washed out, the pendulum is swinging, and that the new is going to come in. And so, like she was saying, she was like, even though it seems like you're surrounded by the enemy, don't be wavered. Don't be sitting in lack. Don't be paying attention to the 3D, etc. Continue to praise for whatever you want being here. So her student continued, how long must one remain in the dark? And she replied, until one can see in the dark. And casting the burden enables to see in the dark. So she's basically saying, how long should one remain into the dark? Until one could see. Remain in the dark until you can get comfortable. And this goes into something that I've said in my past videos. I've said it multiple times. Life is not just black and white. Life is filled with a shit ton of gray areas, and the people that get comfortable in the gray areas of life are the people that succeed. And this is basically what Florence is stating in this book right here. She is saying, get comfortable with the dark until you can see in the dark. That's how long one must remain in the dark, until you can get comfortable and see in the dark, until your eyes begin to adjust in the dark. And the way that you do this is what she just said. She just followed up. Cast a burden. When you cast a burden, as she likes to say, cast a burden on the Christ within, and different affirmations like that. Like that's how Florence Scovel Shinn talked about back in those days. Casting the burden enables one to see in the dark. So when you cast the burden, the care, the worry, the anxiety, when you cast all of that on the universe and say, you know what, I'm going to stop trying to control this. Universe, take it over. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. Give it to the universe. That's how you get rid of all of that fear. That's how you start to see in the dark. That's how you start to see and operate in the gray areas. The universe makes the most successful people. It takes them and puts them in the gray areas, and they live there. They build houses there. And that's something that I learned in my own life. I was never really afraid of the gray areas in life because I understood, life is not black and white. The people that believe life is black and white, those are the people that struggle the most, because they're looking at it and they say, oh, life isn't this way. It's supposed to be this way, or life is supposed to be that way. But life is never this way or that way. Like I said, there's a bunch of gray areas in life. And to those that can get comfortable and live in those gray areas and build solid foundations and build houses and just reside in those gray areas, you will be successful. Nothing will be able to faze you and shock you because you've gotten comfortable. You see in the dark now. All right. So now she goes on to say, in order to impress the subconscious, active faith is always essential. Always essential. Faith without works is dead. In these chapters, I have endeavored to bring out this point. Jesus Christ showed active faith when he commanded the multitude to sit down on the ground before he gave thanks for the loaves and the fishes. And then she goes on to say, I will give another example to show how necessary this step is. In fact, active faith is a bridge over which a man passes to his promised land. So obviously, as you guys know, faith, you need faith. Faith is a major part. And how do you have faith? Is you cast a burden within. So now she's getting ready to get into the story with how the woman had manifested her specific person back. All right. And the story goes like this. Through a misunderstanding, a woman had separated from her husband, whom she deeply loved. He refused all offers of reconciliation. Now, this man was like, yo, I'm done. I don't care. Whatever she was doing at the time, he was like, I'm done. I don't care. I don't want you back. I don't want nothing to do with you. He's probably saying the worst shit ever at that time, whatever it was, 1920s, 1950s. He was probably saying all of these hithers and thous and thou shalt not want you anymore. He was probably saying all that type shit, right? So he refused all offers of reconciliation and would not communicate with her in any way at all. He was like, yo, you're a dub. I don't want nothing to do with you. Coming into the knowledge of spiritual law, she denied the appearance of separation. She made this statement. This is a powerful affirmation too. There is no separation in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot be separated from the love and companionship which are mine by divine right. Yo, that's a super powerful affirmation. She said, you guys know how powerful affirmations are. I'm going to read this one more time. She said, there is no separation in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot be separated from the love and companionship which are mine by divine right. Damn. She then goes on to say, she showed active faith by arranging a place for him. She shows active faith by arranging a place for him at the table every day, thereby impressing the subconscious mind with the picture of his return. Over a year passed. But she never wavered. And one day he walked in. Yo, this is crazy. Listen to this. She showed active faith by arranging a place for him at the table every day, thereby impressing the subconscious mind with the picture of his return. Over a year passed, but she never wavered. And one day he walked in. Guys, how powerful is that? How powerful is that? An entire year went by, over a year went by, and she kept making a place for him at the table. She was eating dinner basically by herself, but she made a dinner plate as if she was cooking for her husband because she knew and anticipated the return of his love, his arrival. She anticipated it. She knew it. She wasn't moved, even though a whole year went by. Yo, some of y'all out here, y'all can't even get through a full YouTube video. Y'all don't even have the patience to watch a 10, 15-minute YouTube video, and then y'all be bugging about your person not coming back, not getting contact, not texting you, not doing this. This lady let a whole year. Let a whole year go by. And she never stopped making dinner for two people, herself and her husband, who wasn't even in her life at the time. And look, he walked in. A year later, he walked in and came back into her life. Yo, this is what I tell you guys all the time. Don't be wavered, because the truth of the matter is this. All of this, and I know you guys like clickbait titles, and you guys want to get results fast. Everybody, as I always say, microwave manifestation. I already know how the game goes, you know what I mean? But then you got to realize is most people on this earth, there's a reason the majority exists and the minority exists. Majority of these people on earth all struggle and go through the same shit, okay? And so you got to understand that majority of the people, when it comes to getting a specific person or getting anything in life, most people, it will not happen quickly for. It really will not happen quickly. And I know you guys, you read comments and you start to think in your mind like, oh, everybody's getting it quick. Look at this comment. Look at that comment. Oh, everybody's manifesting. It's working for them. How come it's not working for me? Listen, that's because everybody isn't sharing their story. Don't get discouraged just because it seems like it's happening fast for everybody. Understand there's mad people that are not sharing their story to where things are not happening fast. And don't get caught up in the numbers. Like I said in one of my other YouTube videos, there's so many people on earth. There's billions of people on earth. Understand the people that are manifesting things very fast, that's literally less than 1% of the population. That's not a lot of people. So don't get discouraged when you go on these sites and you go on comments and you watch other YouTube videos and you see things happening fast and you don't see any movement in your world. Because here's a perfect example of somebody for over a year. She was wasting food, basically. She was making dinner for herself and then making dinner for an invisible person that wasn't even there yet. And then he showed up. Yo, that's active faith. Faith without works is dead. She cast the burden. Like she said earlier in this passage, she cast the burden. She said, I'm not going to worry about when. I'm not going to worry about how. I go free. I'm going to learn to see in the dark. I'm going to learn to live in the gray areas of life. I'm going to get comfortable in the gray areas. I'm going to get comfortable in the dark because, as you guys know, your eyes adjust. When you first turn off the lights in the dark, you can't see. But guess what? After a while, your eyes adjust to the dark and you can start to see in the dark. A lot of people don't know that. And manifestation is the same way. Same fucking way. You can't see now. You're uncomfortable in the gray areas now, but pretty soon those gray areas are going to start to feel real comfortable because the gray areas are filled with so much uncertainty. That's why people like staying out of the gray areas. But I guarantee whoever masters the gray areas of life, you will not be uncomfortable feeling uncertain anymore. You will get comfortable feeling uncertain. You'll know exactly what to do when uncertainty arises in your life. I'm telling you, I know because I've been there, done that. And uncertainty no longer bothers me. It never really bothered me in the first place, thank God. But now I'm at a point to where uncertainty really doesn't bother me. Why? Because I adjusted my eyes. I can see in the dark now. The gray areas are home to me. There's no such thing as black and white. I don't need things to be black and white. It can be any color. Black, gray, green, blue, yellow, brown, yellow, Puerto Rican, or Haitian. As they say in the song, it don't matter. I'm going to see. I'm going to always have 20/20 vision. All right? It's been another episode. Marv's Room, your man Marv. We'll see you guys next time, as always, in the next YouTube video.